call the Select Board meeting of Monday, February 24th, 2025 to order at 6 p.m. We'll start with a public hearing for a new business license application, D's Capital LLC, located at 852 Roosevelt Trail. Anybody here to speak for or against that license? Seeing none. Also, a new business license, Oversight Continuous Commissioning, located at 6 Monroe Drive. Anybody here to speak for that license or against? Seeing none. We'll move on to the regular meeting. Please rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All members are present tonight. We have Mr. Rogers on from afar. We have a review of the meeting minutes from February 10th, 2025. Need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Any changes to the minutes? Everybody happy? No. All in favor? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
Thank you.
One abstain.
One abstain. He wasn't here. Public participation. Anybody here from the public wishing to speak tonight? Public participation is limited to 3 minutes per resident. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Doug Bogdan from East Falls Road. Tonight I'm here to represent the Songo Garden Club as the president of the Songo Garden Club. We had put in a facilities use form to use the town green out here on May 31st, and Jason has advised against that, where it's going to be under construction or landscape, and it was suggested between Jason and Brian that we maybe move across the street to the Kent's Landing. So I just wanted to check and make sure that that was still okay. According to Brian, it was, and I think Jason was okay with that for the 31st, which is right May 31st. And we're usually there from about 8 o'clock in the morning till 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we sell plants. So that's what our garden club is for. So I just want to come here before the board because there's nothing specific on the facility use form for Kent's Landing. It's for everything else. And also for to request a facility fee waiver, and I'll give you a little bit of what we do with the funds that we raise. The money raised from the plant sale that we have every 2 years is to help fund the library flowers that are hung around. We split half of that with the library, around the front of the library in the summertime. We put donations to the food pantries in the town to supply free memberships to our club members that are senior, I won't say what age, and educational events to which everybody in the public is always invited, regardless of the membership, when we hold our meetings. We also help fund and provide plants for the front of the town hall at times. And we are not a for-profit organization. So the monies that we raise go back into the community. So that's one of the reasons that that's the reason that we're requesting the facility waiver fee from the town and the approval of using Kent's Landing on the 31st of May. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, once I have completed the application, I'll bring that to the next meeting so you can sign that if the board votes to approve.
We typically don't make motions during public participation.
Right.
I don't think we need to, as long as we get the application.
Correct.
I will verbally say that I have no problem with the request.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
Hi, I'm Craig Shackness, the Naples resident. I heard a rumor that we had eliminated, or going to be eliminating, the position of the Marine Patrol, and I'm wondering if that rumor was true, and if so, what was the rationale behind making that decision?
So,
I'll refer to the town manager on that, but I will say that it is a personnel issue at this point, and it's not anything that we're going to talk about. but the town manager can give you his rationale if you would like to.
Yep. So I was gonna have that as part of the town manager's update. I wrote this just so I wouldn't miss any of the key points here. So in an effort to better align the duties and responsibilities with the appropriate departments and achieve some efficiencies and some cost savings, I've decided to move the harbor master administrative duties into the code enforcement office. The basic functions of the harbor master with regards to issuing moorings, verifying mooring registration, things like that, well within the scope of the code enforcement office. So I'm going to be moving that over here in May. The Marine Safety Patrol, that'll be hired out to a seasonal worker. And that seasonal worker will manage the folks that are on the water, or manage patrols that will patrol the waters in the summer months. The administrative change fully supports the town-approved ordinances. I think that's important to state, regardless of whatever organizational restructuring happens. The must-dos are what's inside the ordinance, so making sure that this new administrative change does support those ordinance specifications. Sean Hebert, the current harbor master, will continue in his capacity as a harbor master until May, at which point I'll make we will appoint Randy Thurston, the code officer, to the harbor master position. He'll be attending training here in March, so he's fully qualified to execute those duties. I'll be advertising for the Marine Safety Supervisor here later this week, and encourage anyone to apply that meets the qualifications. And then we'll review those, and the goal would be to hire someone for that summer position no later than May, so they have an opportunity to train the summer staff and ensure that we're on the water on time.
So, do you expect we'll see the same presence that we have in the past?
Yep.
From the person that's gonna be seasonal?
So right now, we budget for patrol hours 4 days a week, total of 19 weeks,
Okay,
for 40 hours per week on the water.
Okay.
So we will meet those same schedule requirements. The only possible hiccup I may see, it all depends every year on how many people volunteer to do that job or sign up to do it. And if we run in, like any department, if you run into scheduled gaps, the Marine Safety Supervisor could fill some of those gaps. But my goal is 0 gaps in the schedule on the water.
okay, good. I think it's important, just wanna say it's important, because as we see increased boats on the water and so many rentals, and these people from away, don't respect the waters as well as some of the residents do.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. So,
Okay.
yeah, again, no change in service.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
Can I comment on that? Or ask a question?
Sure.
So you're leaving in June, right?
I am
So you're making these changes right before you go?
still the guy in the seat.
Well, does Sean not want to be the harbor master anymore?
No, that wasn't the case. Again, the harbor master move was a matter of administrative change. There's some cost savings by moving it into the code office. Right now, that position is now Sean fills both roles as the Marine Safety Supervisor as well as the harbor master. That stipend's just shy, this proposed budget year is just shy of $21,000. My proposal this budget season is to make that a $6,000 stipend for the harbor master within the code enforcement office, and then I'm advertising the position at $10,000 for the Marine Safety Supervisor. That's a cost savings of about $6,000.
Well, it's not about the money all the time, like all those people that had to come up and fight for their nonprofits since you've become the manager. I just feel like, we're a small town, and maybe Sean should be considered if he wants it, since he's done a great job while he's been here, and it's not just about the money. That's all. Thank you.
Anybody else for public participation? Seeing none. It's a fairly short agenda, so I don't believe we need to make any adjustments at this time. Approval of licenses and permits. New business license application, D's Capital LLC, 852 Roosevelt Trail. Need a motion and a second to approve that license.
Make a motion to approve application for DS Capital LLC. LLC located at 852 Roosevelt Trail.
Second. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I take it this is the arcade behind Rex? Is that what this is?
Yep, so the person that's looking to open this business will revitalize or reinitiate operations of the mini golf course.
Oh, mini
That's
golf, okay.
Yeah, that's the objective, is to start that. He's going to be, as I understand, subletting that through the owner of Rick's.
Okay. It just said Family Entertainment
Yeah.
Center, so I wasn't sure which one part was.
Anything else? Comments, questions? Kevin, you all set?
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
Mr. Chair, if we could please acknowledge a roll call vote with Kevin on remote.
In the beginning, I stated that, but we
Yeah,
certainly...
but for each vote, you have to get a roll call vote.
Okay. Kevin, you was an aye on that last one? Thank you.
Correct.
Under old business, another new business license application for oversight continuous commissioning located at 6 Monroe Drive.
So this was the business application the select board reviewed at the last meeting, asked for additional information on the license of the gentleman that was looking to open the business. And we were also seeking a letter from the HOA stating that the business was in compliance with their HOA bylaws. I have not received that letter. I did establish comms with the gentleman who is submitting the application for the business. He stated that a few weeks back he did submit a letter to the HOA, has not heard back. For this board, you'd be authorizing the business. It would still be the purview of the HOA as a governing body for their HOA to say that he cannot operate it because it's in violation of their HOA, and that's their private business. So your options are to either table it until we get until we get the HOA letter, or approve it and let the HOA and the business owner resolve it at their level.
At the last meeting, the president and treasurer
Treasurer.
was both present, and neither one of them saw an issue with it, and the concern from the resident was vehicular traffic,
Correct. Vehicular traffic and signage.
and there's gonna be neither. Is that correct?
As the business owner stated, his at-home business is reviewing HVAC plans on his computer and occasionally teaching webinars. So it's all within his business, no foot traffic expected at his residence.
Movie and office, home-based computer work.
So either a motion to table it to the next meeting or a motion to approve the license and let the HOA provide the letter. Whatever you guys wish to do. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve oversight continuous commissioning located at 6 Monroe Drive.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
And I'll tell you, I made that motion because I know there's another business in there operating right now, so.
Gotcha. Any other questions, concerns? Kevin?
Done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
Thank you. 5-0. Under new business, review and vote on proposed long-term facility use agreement for Casco Naples before and after school program at the Singer Center. That application is in your packet.
So typically, facility use agreements are approved by either the rec director or myself. The reason this one's coming before the select board this evening is because there is essentially a fee waiver in this long-term use agreement. The long-term use agreement would allow the before and after school care program to operate from 6 in the morning till 9 in the morning, and then again from 3 in the afternoon till 6 in the afternoon to facilitate the operation of the before and after school program. In the past, their agreement was $100 a month for their months of operation. That's 9 months out of the year. The proposal that you have in front of you the changes are in red. The most notable changes are an increase in the fee from $100 a month to $4,000 a month during the months of operation. In the first year, the second year, that fee goes up to $500 a month. Then the third year, it goes up to $600 a month. I have removed the sharing of electrical costs in the previous contract. The agreement was they would split the electrical costs month to month. We don't do that for any other facility rentals. So I thought it fair to just include that as part of their facility use fee. On average, their electricity runs anywhere from $72 to $96 a month. So I think the fee adjustment properly accounts for that. Those were the two biggest things that I need this board to consider before I'm able to move forward and sign this.
So I just want to be clear, Jason, what I heard from you was we was increasing from $100 a month to $4,000 a month, and that's $400.
Correct, $400 a month.
Okay.
Apologize for the misspeak. Apologize. I was reading the line. Thank you. So yes, correction, $400 a month for the first year, $500 a month for the second year, $600 a month for the third year of operation.
And it looks like this only operates 9 months out of the year.
Correct. They do not operate in the summer.
Great. And everybody's in agreement that's involved with this?
Yes, I emailed the board that's responsible for the before and after school care. They've had an opportunity to review it, and no additional changes than what you see in front of you.
I'd like a motion to approve the agreement.
Make a motion to approve long-term use agreement
For the before and after program.
before and after program. Correct.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Unscheduled school closure days, does that interfere with the crosswalk waiver we just approved if there's a snow day of some sort?
So if there is a snow day before and after school care, it would have priority over the event, and we would communicate that with the folks at Crosswalk Community Outreach, and they would reschedule accordingly.
So make sure it's covered.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Kevin, you all set?
I'm all set, thank you.
All in favor of the motion? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
5-0. Review and vote on volunteer application for vacant seat on the Board of Appeals for David Bouchard.
Did you zoom in on this thing?
Yeah.
It's on the back of the agreement.
Yeah.
Saving paper.
I can't read it. Do you have a copy that you can read?
I can read it.
Read to us, I mean?
Sure. So there's an option at the bottom of the application to provide experience. So he is, so prior to retirement, he managed WW Engineering team for Fairfield Semiconductors, general contractor, property manager, waterfront director, relationships with local contractors and marinas. So he has multiple. He's been very involved in the town, ample experience to be a part of the, as I see, ample experience to be a part of the ordinance or the Board of Appeals.
Yeah. That's all.
Need a motion?
So moved to accept David's application.
Second.
Motion to accept the application for the Board of Appeals for David Bouchard, and is seconded by Kevin. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
5-0. Town Manager's report.
All right, this past week, the Transfer Station Council met. Some highlights from that meeting were change to the operating hours. So the transfer station will now operate from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, so it's the same days. They will no longer operate winter hours. You'll know that when we hit daylight savings time, they usually reduce their hours of service, but with the addition of lights up in the transfer station area, they feel they can maintain safe operations during these hours year-round. So that was a significant change to operating hours. Installation of the RFID scanner. So as we're transitioning away from the coupon book for the bulky waste system, the RFID system is scheduled to start install sometime here the end of March. Once we get a little bit of, once snow hopefully goes away, and they're able to come in and install the system. The goal is to have the system up and operational by early April so that we have adequate time to transition to the new system and get residents their RFID scanners. The scanning cards will be rear view window hangers, so they are transferable between cars. If you've got multiple cars in your household, and give it to your another family member to go to the transfer station. And their tonnage will be calculated as they enter and depart this bulky waste station. Discussing conducting another facility use study. The last one was done, I believe, might be off by a year or two. I think it was 2017. The members of the council feel that they need to get a better accounting of the percentage of usage between Naples and Casco. The split right now is 56-44, and that was based on the last study that was done. But they're going to form a couple working groups and meet to discuss how they want to tackle the survey and collect the data, so they can make an informed decision on any revisions to percentage of sharing and cost sharing between the towns. The Ordinance Review Committee. The Ordinance Review Committee, they've been working hard over the last several months, updating multiple ordinances. Provided each one of the select board members with a copy of the proposed ordinances with changes highlighted in red. I'd ask that you take the next week, review those. If you have any comments, additions, changes, if you can get those back to me, I'll get those to Kathy, our municipal planner, and she'll incorporate those changes in time for the public hearing, which is right now scheduled for March 18th. To highlight the ordinance changes in front of you, this will be an update to the Budget Committee ordinance. Last appeared in the warrant in 1979 with 12 elected Budget Committee members. We've been operating 7 for multiple years now. We've only been electing to 7. So we need to tighten up that ordinance to reflect reality and make the committee size 7. Land use ordinance changes the language to accessory dwelling unit to comply with the state of Maine affordable housing statute. Change the kennel definitions to match the state statute and include a definition for doggy daycare. Add a definition for abutters, so it's made clear as to who should be notified in the event of a site plan or a subdivision application. Add the addition of political signs. Again, we saw this during the November election season. Signs went up everywhere. We want to make sure that we are in compliance with the state statutes and that we don't have a similar situation where multiple signs are being placed in the public way. New ordinance, solicitation ordinance. At the last select board meeting, there was a recommendation to develop a solicitation ordinance. The draft has been created, and that's in front of you. The objective of this solicitor ordinance is to help curb the amount of random solicitors that are showing up on folks' door fronts at various times of day. It defines times of day that they can solicit, the types of organizations that are exempt from a registration fee. That fee will be set by the select board. Additionally, the ordinance will require any solicitors to register in the town office. And they'll be issued just a simple badge, so if a solicitor does show up in your door, then you know with confidence they've at least come through the town offices. They filled out an application, they've indicated what company they're with, they provided contact information for the company they work for, and we do have, that provides us a little bit of a greater opportunity to support the residents in minimizing the amount of random solicitors showing up at their door. The ordinance also did detail language that says that solicitors showing up outside of certain hours, they run the risk of losing the right to solicit in the town. Also, if they're not allowed to solicit in areas where no soliciting signs are clearly posted. A new ordinance, we already talked about the solicitation ordinance. The next one was the repeal of the lot size ordinance. The language of this ordinance is incorporated in the land use ordinance as no longer needed. And also repeal of the sign ordinance, as the language for the sign ordinance is also included in the land use ordinance. The goal is to have all of these ordinance updates on the warrant article for the May ballot. For town admin, boards and committees updates, Budget Committee met last week to review My final inputs for the FY26 budget. During the meeting, the school superintendent was present and answered questions regarding what we could expect from the school budget in FY26. In December, the superintendent provided me with a projected increase of 7.9% as a planning factor going into our budget season. At last week's meeting, he revised that number to a 10% increase. This was based primarily on the significant valuation increase that happened across all the towns that use the school. With a 10% increase, we're looking at about a $900,000 increase in the school budget in this year's budget season. I should have final numbers. I will have final numbers, obviously, before the vote. I'm working to get something a little closer to that before we go to the joint meeting between the Select Board and the Budget Committee, which is scheduled for March 10th. When I asked if the SRO was included as part of the budget, superintendent said it was not, and that it would be included as a separate warrant article item, separate from the budget. This is the same format that we saw during last year's vote.
Sorry,
I thought you might have a question.
all the taxpayers voted last year to approve the SRO, and he still is going against our wishes to remove it.
Colin Brackett was at that meeting, and he asked the same question. He said that the residents spoke pretty much resoundingly that we wanted an SRO. We voted to have an SRO. But he insisted he was still going to list it as a separate item as he still sees value in the dean of students that he's hired.
Maybe that should be the separate vote, is the dean of students.
And I would encourage yourself and any and all residents to attend the budget meeting, public meetings that will happen at the school here in the next couple of months.
I did
Voice your
last
opinion.
year, and I will this year.
Please do. East Falls Dam removal, last up, at the last meeting, I provided an update that there were a couple residents that experienced loss of well capacity as they claimed by the removal of the East Falls Dam last summer. One resident that was closest to the impound area, the impound area is defined as the area that was estimated to be most affected by the removal of the dam. This one resident who was closest is upstream by about 50 feet of the impact area. The TU contracted a company to come in and place water level monitors both in the river and in the resident's well to monitor the rise and fall of the resident's well as the river also rose and fell. Their determination by the letter I received from them was that the rise and fall or the loss of the well was not attributed to the dam removal, as the rise and fall of the well and the river appear to be happening upstream of the impound area. There was another resident about 2,000 feet upstream from the impound area that was also impacted with a well loss. Similar reply from the folks at TU. Their assessment being that it was well outside the impound area, and the loss of the well was not due to the removal of the dam. I have passed this information along to the town's attorneys, and I'm in comms with the our town insurance company to see what course of action is next. I'll provide a recommendation here at the next select board meeting. LD 283. So at the last budget committee meeting, the resident Martina Witz shared with the group a bill that's going before the legislature right now that will pass along a 1% revenue sharing out of taxes collected for both dining and lodging. So this is not a new tax. It is separate from the profit sharing revenues or the tax revenue sharing that we already received from the state. As an example, in front of you, I've given a brief breakdown over the last, from 2007 to 2023, the amount in taxes that has been collected for lodging and for restaurants here in the town of Naples. In 2023, we collected, or the state collected, I should say, $18,433,528 in lodging and meal taxes. If this bill was in effect, the town would have received $184,335 in revenue sharing. That's 1% of the total taxes collected. Bring this before you tonight. I have a letter of support in your folder for you to sign if you choose. supporting this bill. If you sign it, I will pass that bill to Senator Libby and Representative Walker to bring to the Tax Review Committee for their vote on the 25th, or sorry, on the 27th. And that concludes my update.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Any questions for the manager?
Jason, I have one. Anything out there for bylaws or ordinances that talk about attendance of individuals at these committees and boards? Missed two, we have a problem. However, we determine removal of, replacement of.
So within the bylaws, it is described in various boards and committees that should you have two unexcused absences from a regularly scheduled meeting, that particular person could be subject to removal. A little bit more challenging when we get into elected positions, as they're elected by the public. Removal in that case it's the responsibility of the public when they vote to make that decision as to whether or not they're being properly represented at those in those elected seats. For the other boards and committees that are ad hoc, it's a little bit more straightforward. It'd be up to the chair of each one of those boards and committees to take that action.
I've been on boards and committees, not in this town, but in other towns, where there was an ordinance that says you miss two meetings in a row, especially if you're an elected official, that you volunteered to be elected to support that board and committee, to show up and make those commitments. And not that I've seen anybody replaced, but it was an incentive for those individuals to attend those meetings or make arrangements to make sure they're there to support the residents that they got voted in for. I just thought it should be something that should be looked at.
Yeah, I have not seen anything by way of an ordinance, only by bylaws.
Thank you.
Anything else for the manager from the board first? One thing I'd like to see us make a motion to sign a letter of support for LD 283.
I think it's in the red folder, isn't it? Is it in the red folder?
It is in the red folder.
But is it something we want to do?
Oh, you're trying to-
I would like to make that public, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, second?
No, I didn't make the motion. I'd like you to, though.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to sign a letter of support for LD 283. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kevin? He's muted.
You're muted.
Aye.
Thank you.
Sorry, hit the wrong mute button.
And this gentleman had a question for the manager. Can I get you to come up to the, thank you.
Todd Armstrong. Just wonder if there's any update on our fire pond situation in Sebago Cove.
I do not have an update. Last update I got from the attorneys was they asked for a amendment to the subdivision plan from 1993. What our attorneys are trying to ascertain is whether or not there was something prior to the 2019 memo that required Owani to install a fire pond. I believe we've given them the proper information. They are now talking with Owani to determine a way forward with that.
Okay.
I know it's a slow-moving train, and I do apologize, and I appreciate your patience as we work through this.
Sure.
Anything else for the manager? Moving on to other business. Parks and Land Use Committee update for Kent's Landing.
Cap, that's you. And I do have Callie Maggio. She is representative from Wright Pierce. They're the company that was contracted to conduct the survey. On the screen in front of you.
So,
One second. Is
Jason, I know the board got the picture that we'll discuss. How about the minutes too?
no, they didn't. They don't have the minutes. The So the Parks and Land Use Committee last week met to review the initial concept. Again, this is initial first swing from Wright Pierce on what they think could be done at Kent's Landing. Premature to discuss any costs associated with any of this, but I'll let Kathy describe kind of what you're looking at and a brief summary of what they discussed.
Okay, I just want to back up a little bit, in that we started working on this project January 16th when we met with Wright Pierce, two representatives from Wright Pierce, Kaylee and Jamie Wallace. And we had members of our pluck committee, plus we invited Ken Norton to come along because he seems to have a good sense of what's going on at the landing. So then after that meeting, where we discussed kind of our wants and our needs with Wright Pierce, I decided to contact LEA because I felt that this project, they would have some good insights into what we needed to do in order to make sure that any changes or things we might have forgotten about would not impact the lake. So we did that. And then we did a walk through on Kent's Landing with Emlyn from LEA, Ken and Caleb and myself, to go over what is existing and any thoughts that LEA would have, and if they had any history in doing any projects down there. It wasn't until February 19th that we did receive the concept plan. We met the very next day, pluck committee, along with Emlyn from LEA and Ken Norton. I can assure you that this is not an easy project to take under advisement. Kent's Landing, by design, is only meant for local residents and taxpayers. And we know the town has grown, and we know that there's issues that have been identified by the different people in the town, as well as a select board of things that we need to be looking at. Parking is an issue, traffic flow is an issue. So, with that said, we ended up having a long discussion of all the different things that we felt based on, this is a concept plan, so it is, we liked many of the things in the plan. Some of the things we decided that we could do without, we just nixed almost right away. Parking, I think, was identified as the number one issue. There's not enough parking. I don't pretend to have a history of what goes on down there in terms of who parks where. There seems to be a difference of opinion as to the cars that can park down by Kent's Landing, whether they are just Naples residents, the trailers, but I don't have a history of that. It's just hearsay. But based on what the parking is there now and talking with some of the local residents, there doesn't seem to ever be a place if people want to come and put their boat in because the parking is already taken up. We also know that there is a lack of parking in town. We don't see that there's any quick fix to that. There seems to be a difference of opinion. I know Parks and Land Use have come before the board before and recommended a larger project for parking up at the Beacon property, and that really didn't get much traction. I didn't get any traction. And part of the concern, I guess, people have, it's just too far to walk. And I won't go into debating that, but that seems to be the reason that it got stalled. So the number one issue that we identified that should be addressed was the parking. So you'll see in your upper left corner, a proposal where the children's garden used to be, would be to have extended parking there. We felt that it should just be for car parking, not trailers. But that's just a recommendation that we had. And you'll see that if there was no change in how people access Kent's Landing, There is quite an interesting recommendation for kind of a turnaround that you'll see down below that doesn't exist now. And Parks and Land Use felt that that could definitely alleviate the congestion of somebody pulls down and how do they turn their boat around and their trailer. So it would be that if you would come down through, and we'll get to the wash station secondary, you'll come down through and make a left opposite of with the way that car is going, and you would come in and then point your boat back up toward 302 and back your trailer in. And then when you're done, you could come out. So that we felt was adding that as an improvement was a really good idea. I believe Wright Pierce also thought that could be a place for a boat wash station. Now, I've had a lot of conversations with Colin Holmes and Emlyn at LEA, so I've gotten caught up to speed pretty quickly. If we were to put a new boat wash station there, the committee felt it would be an unnecessary expense. Plus, we didn't like the fact it was so close to the lake. There is an existing wash station up near between the little kiosk and the restrooms, and there is a hose there. Now, in talking with Colin and understanding what we are required to do and what we may want to do as good stewards, is that there is no law that requires that boats are washed. Now, we know that that would be foolish to not wash a boat, particularly if it has material on. But does that mean that every single boat that comes in needs to be washed? That's up for debate. But there is an existing wash station with a hose, and talking with Colin from LEA, who put in the wash station, he felt that what's there now is adequate. Does it need improvement? More than likely, but you can't see it, it's under the snow. I'm not that familiar with the area. There may be, there was some concern about, do the boats actually pull in there? And do they get washed if there's material on the boat? In talking further, boats, again, should be drained, and they really should be drained before they go in the lake, and they should be drained when they come out of the lake. And in discussing this at our Parks and Land Use Committee meeting, there's more than just material that boats can transport. They can transport aquatic animals, fish, what have you, in that water. So is that a training issue? Again, I don't have the history down there. I don't know exactly what happens with the boats, but we did identify that there more than likely should be some, at least conversation about how that's handled. Let's see.
Captain, before you move on.
Yeah.
Jason's got a copy. I think Martina sent us a copy of how a wash station should be built from scratch and everything that goes into that. It's like a PDF.
Yeah,
I had like 25 pages or something.
Yeah, I got it from LEA, and I
Okay.
talked to Colin about that. Colin from LEA, who put this system in, and I talked to him last week, and I have an email from him. He felt that what we have there now is adequate. Now, if the town feels it's not, and they want to do something else, it's certainly within your purview. But he felt what we have now, as long as it's being utilized properly, is adequate. Any other questions?
Ed,
Where does the water run after you wash off the boat?
Well, the area is gravel. So you pull off, and do you see where that, well, actually the red arrow is a little misleading, but between the little kiosk and the washrooms, there's like a semicircle that the boats, as they come in, before they even go down in, or if there's any material on where they need to drain, are supposed to pull off into that area. And when Emmeline came to the meeting, she had Google Earth pictures, so you could see that it's still there. Again, what condition it is in, more than likely it needs some attention. But it was put in with LEA's help and guidance, so that's all I can tell you.
I'm not an engineer, but I pulled my boat out against mine in this year, and it needs a TLC boat wash.
Yeah, right now, the boat wash station, it meets the minimum requirements of adequacy, and then there's a hose with water in it. That's the extent. Martina's not, there are some examples
Well,
of.
no, that's not fair, because there is some gravel there. You can see where there was more, there was some work done. It wasn't just that somebody came down and put a hose on a tree.
Well, for the extent of washing, there was a hose. There's
Okay.
no
Well, that's-
scrub brushes or a nice kiosk or anything like that. But we could absolutely improve it. I think we could stand to probably box cut the gravel area, put down some new gravel that's heavily overgrown, to improve the drainage, so that the water can permeate the soil. There are definite improvements that we can make.
There are, and again, with Colin's guidance, you don't want to get into having something that you're damaging somebody's boat, which is what he said. He said, you want to be careful and mindful about what you're doing. So just kind of bear that in mind.
What about the wash station over on 114 and into Tricky Pond? Who put that wash station?
Martina's here, I don't know.
I tell you all about that, but I don't think they want to hear it right now. No, but who put it in?
Actually, the residents of Tricky Pond Road put it in 2 years before the TPPA was even formed. And we're going to have to rebuild it this year. Have to get a permit from the CEO because it's rotting away.
All right.
That's another story.
Yeah.
And I thought we was gonna go all night without hearing from Priscilla.
Thank you.
Ed,
You say you want to drain the water out of the boat before and after. Usually there's oil in there and gasoline, one thing and another than that. Gravel ain't gonna cut the mustard, you're gonna have to have a holding tank and you're gonna have to pump it up.
Not according to what Colin says. You should.
I don't know who Colin is,
Well,
but
he's
I'm
head of
telling you,
LEA.
most boats have got oil and gas in the bottom of it, and you're gonna have it.
Well,
so I guess, what we're hearing is we'll look at improvements for the wash
we are
station.
looking at improvements to the wash station and what the town decides to do. But it's not like there's not something there, or it hasn't been, something isn't happening.
Basically, you're taking off the milfoil.
And I think now, and Jason, you may have a better handle, I think we think people are just being asked if they are draining their boats. I don't know that anybody is requiring them. Colin, were you required to drain your boat before you put it in, or just when you took it out? Or neither?
There's no requirement either, there's nobody.
No,
there
down
watching it.
here.
Yeah,
So,
there's no
okay.
requirement either, you can put a sign up, but there's nobody there patrolling it and watching it.
So it's recommended that that's what happens.
So when I look at the area of where the playground is, and I
Oh.
see a circle with a line through it,
Yes.
does that mean we're doing away with the playground?
No, that was a newly installed, that was, yeah.
Recommendation.
A recommendation for an improved playground that we felt we did not want to address. So we're not doing anything with the playground down. Our recommendation would be to not make any improvements to the playground, other than perhaps put some material at the bottom, maybe some wood chips or something, or leave it, it's on grass, I think, and that's adequate. So that was just the reason there's a line through it, is because that's not something we're going to be addressing, taking out or improving.
Do we put wood chips on that playground?
I'd be lying if I could tell you. I can check in the spring what's down there for
Yes, there
material.
are wood chips on that playground.
There you go.
I think it's
That's
required.
Yes, there are.
Okay. All right. That's my question.
Seems to me we just need to go look at the wash station and what is required for draining before and after those boats. Either improve the wash station, pressure heads, whatever is needed to collect oil, water, or whatever before and after the boat goes in the water comes out. After that, it looks to me like everything is fairly okay. I agree with you, Kathy, that parking space is never gonna support downtown Naples, the distance, but that's for another discussion.
Anything else? Did they talk about a breakwater?
No, that was not in this plan, this iteration.
Well, it just says extended boat launch, and I don't,
Right.
just extending it's gonna fix the issue, I
Right,
guess.
the silting.
Is there I apologize for not being completely on top of this project. Is there a timeline on this? Right now, this is preliminary sketches. I take it.
Yep, so the contract was to survey and assess and come up with a conceptual design. And then one of the outputs that they'll deliver is an estimated cost sheet for each aspect of the improvement, so that the town can do it in phases. If there's something they want to do or we don't want to do, then we can vote on those expenditures as they come. But we think probably the first two things, if we are going to move forward with the parking, that would be at the top of the list, as well as the improved boat wash station. Those are the two largest improvements that would impact residents the most.
Teddy, I do have another question.
Yep, go ahead.
Whatever happened to the problems we seemed to be having last year on the boat launch about dredging it twice a year
That's what I
because
was
it
brought up.
fills back in?
So that's what I think Billy was alluding to, was that we need to come up with some mechanism to prevent that water or that silt from continuing to build up at the boat launch. Whether it be the installation of a breakwater, extending the culverts that go out there, there needs to be addressed. So that's something that we will, as we continue to work through this planning process with Ray Pierce, is look into what it would take to put some sort of mitigating structure in there that would minimize the amount of silt building up on the boat launch.
Why couldn't we go look at moving the boat launch to another place, make that all a town beach?
So as far as moving the boat launch to another place, that was something that that is something we're looking into. Right now, I don't have any place that jumps off the map as this would be a better place for the public to launch their boats in along the lake. So there are some limb facts with regard to just available land.
To Steve's point, according to David Garcia, and we all know David, has a long history here. And when the town originally purchased the property, the boat launch was supposed to be over near where the beach is. That's the deepest part. There was a decision not to put it there because there was some pushback by the man who owned the property. So there are deeper spots within that area. It's whether or not you want to explore getting somebody in there to do some kind of survey or.
Yeah, and looking at the overhead images on Google Earth, just seasonal photos, they are time late by sometimes many years. The silting is prevalent throughout that entire area. It's not just the boat launch. We get quite a bit of silting, right off the beach as well.
And you got a cemetery down there too.
Well, you have the cemetery, yeah, over kind of, yeah, that away. Yeah. We do.
Anything else?
We're just waiting on more info now, right?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Letter B, review and approve heating fuel fund use policy.
So, every year we have residents that make donations for the heating fuel fund. We got about $9,000 in there right now. And talking with our GA rep from the county, she's had a relatively large number of heating fuel requests come in this year. And the purpose for this fund is if someone applies for GA and for whatever reason they don't qualify for GA, there should be a handoff mechanism to where the town can support those residents. You might have someone that's $10 over the minimum threshold income that doesn't qualify for GA, but they're still in need. What I found was we were lacking a policy for the uniform disbursement of those funds. So what you have in front of you, we grabbed a couple other examples from other towns. North Yarmouth specifically had a good process for reviewing them. So put together a policy that can be signed by the select board that allow us to, again, uniformly apply the disbursement of those funds should a resident be in need.
This is just for Naples residents.
Just Naples residents. They must have they must be a Naples resident, and the fuel must be delivered to a Naples address. And it addresses multiple fuel sources, everything from K1 to home heating oil, pellets, cord of wood, depending on what your primary heating source is.
Propane and electric.
Make a motion to approve the discretionary heating fuel fund use policy.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions?
Jason, what's the criteria used for eligibility? You mentioned $10 over, is it, where does it cap?
So
$100 over, $5,000 over?
So, well, if they're a nickel over, then they don't qualify. So the folks at GA, they have a very detailed application process. Part of the application for fuel assistance would be the determination letter from GA that says they were denied. So that would accompany the local application for those fuel funds, for the fuel assistance. So the entering criteria is you have to have been rejected from other resources before you can tap into these funds.
But where's the threshold stop? Like, I could apply for GA and be denied, does that mean I get free oil?
Well, it depends. It's a very lengthy application. They look at everything from how much money you have in your bank, what your income is, what your expenses are, and it all factors into a calculation that determines whether or not you have your own means to provide your home heating oil or provide whatever your financial need is. And if for some reason you fall within the category of someone in need, GA will assist you. If you don't fall within that threshold, GA will reject your application. Then that application will be forwarded over to the municipality for determination of assistance.
Teddy, that's a good question.
Go ahead.
Not me, not me.
Huh?
It's all set. Eddie.
I have a question. Hold on in. So, there's $9,000 in that account now, and that will carry forward from year to year.
It will.
Okay. Go ahead.
That answered one of my questions.
There you go.
Where's the chaplain fund come into on this?
So the chaplain fund can be used for heating assistance. So I had the finance director go back, as far as the records show, and we've got about $107,000 in interest, which is all that the select board has access to for distributing funds. Of that $107,000, the select board has access to 75% of that. They can't issue more than 75% of that interest each year. So we could use those chaplain funds to augment GA. Say we budgeted $10,000 for GA, but we had a large demand on GA this year, say $5,000 over that $10,000 limit. We could then we could balance up that account at the end of the year with chaplain fund. Same would be true for, I think there's 9 different categories in which chaplain fund could be applied, and fuel assistance is one of them.
That's not the only one. I mean, lights, you could have somebody that needs to have their lights stay on.
Correct, and this fuel assistance program also addresses that assistance with electric bills.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion to approve heating fuel fund use policy?
Aye.
Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
5-0. Review and sign letter of support for Crosswalk Community Outreach to aid in their grant writing efforts.
So as we've all heard, Crosswalk Community Outreach is in the process of very aggressive effort through grassroots fundraising and grant fund writing to gather the funds necessary to create their own facility. Part of the grant writing process is letters of support. So a letter of support from the select board expressing the value that they add to the community and to the residents that use their services, is very helpful in the grant writing process. So they've asked for a letter of support from the select board.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Need a
Second.
Motion by Billy, second by Kevin, to sign the letter of support. Any questions?
Within that support, a lot of it is to waiver fees. And we have different organizations coming to town asking for that same waiver for different reasons. Is there any type of policy in town that talks about what's the criteria for waiving fees, be it for entertainment or relief or whatever that the town currently has?
There is not facility use policy that was recently updated by this body here. Did not detail any criteria for a fee waiver. The general guidance for the select board is if the select board determines that it's for the community good and overall benefits the community, then you have the authority to waive the fee.
It just seems to me we could get ourselves into a situation where we're wavering this for one thing and not wavering this for another reason. There's really no set criteria that says, check the box. And we could deny people for whatever reason that it just seems to be to get into a mess of mingled reasons why we're approving and not approving or wavering fees that the town approved to support.
I'll forward the select board the language out of the policy, and you can review that, and if you feel there's a spot that we can maybe, I think it'd probably be too difficult to list every reason that we would waiver, and it might be better to describe conditions under which you wouldn't waiver.
Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor for signing the letter of support for Crosswalk Community? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
5-0.
Make a motion, we move to executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6A personnel matter.
At 7:03 PM.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second, go to executive session at 7:03 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you all for coming.